we're from Group C, and today we would like to discuss the topic about the ICRC, which is the International Committee of the Red Cross, and the permanent mission of the Republic of Korea to the United Nations. The presenters of this topic will be first me, Seung-jun.
민정. Right.
Yeah, and now to move on. First, to talk about the contents of what we'll present. First, we'll talk about the history of the ICRC. Second, the history of Geneva Convention.
Third, basic rules of IHL. Fourth, Korean history and ICRC. And fifth, status quo of Korean Red Cross.
So, to briefly tell you about the history of the ICRC the idea of the ICRC was created by a founder called the Hermit Dunen, and he participated in the Battle of the Sopalino, which was a battle in 1859. And when participating in this war, he noticed that there were a lot of issues and problems in the process of war. About 23,000 people were left on the streets without any medical services provided to the wounded or the sick people. So if you take a close look at this picture, you can see how brutal and violent the situation in the war is. So, and when he went back to his home, he wrote about the memories that he had in this battlefield and wrote a book called A Memory of the Sopalino. And this book emphasized the importance of providing medical services or medical aids to the wounded or sick soldiers in the battlefield. So many political leaders around the globe were inspired by the book that they read and met at the Geneva to adopt the first Geneva Convention, which was adopted in 1864. And this convention emphasizes that the wounded and the sick in the armed forces should be provided to medical service and the medical aids necessary for them. However, as the time passed, they realized that the convention they made was limited, and they need to provide more medical services to the sick and shipwrecked members of the armed forces at the sea. So by adopting another article in 1906, they made it possible so that medical services or aids could be provided in conflict zones, not only in land, but also in ocean. However, during this period of time, in 1914, there was a big war, as everyone knows, the World War I. And in this period of time, the biggest problem was that the prisoners of the wars were kept in a very bad condition. They were tortured or murdered for information. However, the ICRC noticed this problem, so in 1929, they added another article stating that we need to provide fair treatments to the prisoners of the wars. So we're not allowed to murder or torture any of the soldiers that were kept to the prisoners. And before this period of time, there was another war called the World War II, as everyone knows. This is like the biggest war that happened in our history. And another big problem about this war was that not only the soldiers, but also a lot of civilians were injured and harmed during this process. So noticing this problem, another thing that the ICRC did is they added a final article, which is the fourth, saying that there needs to be a protection of civilians, persons in time of war. So as the ICRC mentioned, we're not allowed to kill or murder any civilians and people who are not armed. So before we go on to the next presentation, can you please explain about the international humanitarian law, please?
Of course. So far we talked about the history of General Convention and ICRC. So I'm going to explain the basic rules of international humanitarian law, which is the base of our human rights today. Does somebody know 4 basic rules we learned during the class? Okay, I will explain 4. First one is humanity. Humanity is about protecting the human rights. The important part in this humanity is to keep the human dignity during the wartime. So the people shouldn't be discriminated by the religion, race, and sex. So this is the humanity part. third. And the second one is a distinction. Distinction means civilians must be distinguished from combatants so that the civilians can be protected. And the third one is proportionality. These third concepts correspond to the precaution with the fourth one. Proportionality means the damage that civilians got and military advantages should be kept at balance in order to make sure that the armed soldiers do not hurt so many civilians, and there shouldn't be excessive casualties in terms of war. And the last one is the precaution. This precaution aims for finding out the best solution that minimizes the loss of the civilian life and civilian objects. So one of the precautions is to notice the people to evacuate from these dangerous regions in advance.
So since we all learned about the ICRC and listened to the lectures by the staff, we would like to talk more about things that we didn't learn. So we would like to present you with the history, how the Korean history is actually related to the ICRC. And many people and many students in the Korean society believe that ICRC is a very recent organization that came into Korea. However, we learned that through research that actually the Korean Red Cross was established in 1905 during the Empire of Korea. And the regime was the Gojong Emperor. However, in this time, as all of the students could know, we had a lot of influence through the Japanese, so we did not have a strong sovereignty or the power to control all the organizations of our society. So in this time period, the Korean Red Cross did not play an active role in our society or the international community. And furthermore, as all students know, in 19
So before continuing, I want to talk about why ICRC is so important in our Korean society. This is because ICRC played a really significant role in the Korean War. War refugees came to Busan, which is the city of South Korea, to escape from the war. So Red Cross members really help us to be protected. So we really appreciate their help now. Since we receive a lot of help from the global community, it is really essential for us to repay this thankful part to the global community, and also actively participating in achieving the goals of ICRC. I'm gonna further explain about this map, and this is the North Korea, and this is the South Korea. This blue region is the Busan, where the refugees came from this north to south. And in these blue regions, ICRC members provide refugees with plenty of medical services and necessities. So that's why we are really thankful for their help. And this is another picture that shows the international Red Cross members are helping our wounded soldiers. Today, the Red Cross member is trying to take part in this global community services to really as a repay. So to explain, in this picture, the young man is giving the balloon to the young children. So this is exactly the developing countries such as Bangladesh or Thailand. So these young children is really happy. And also in the second picture, the old man is hugging the crying child, but as we see in the further places where children are sitting, they also are waiting for our Korean members' help. So I think this is really important part of our society because this is the relationship between ICRC and the Korean history from now on and from until. So it is our responsibility to help people in need and contribute to the world peace.
So before ending the presentation about the ICRC, I would like to once again emphasize that many students in our society think that donating money to the ICRC and doing some activities for ICRC is totally unnecessary and has nothing to do with us. However, we should always remember that the ICRC is actually the organization that helped during the times of our own tribulations, such as the Korean War, and without the help of this organization, there wouldn't be any medical services or medical aids that the refugees of our own society could be provided with. So I want to once again highlight the fact and the importance of the ICRC. Thank you.
Hi. So Jungmin and my name is Ran, and we researched and we are focusing on the permanent mission of the Republic of Korea to the United Nations. And we are mainly focusing on the Geneva's permanent mission because we actually have been there. So I think we're going. So our table of contents, we're going to talk about what the permanent mission is, disarmaments, development, delivery, and support, human rights, and what now about permanent mission. And we chose these three topics because actually there are so many problems and so many topics to talk about from this permanent mission because they do a lot of things and about the global happenings. But we wanted to focus on these three topics that we thought are more important. So the mission, permanent mission of the Republic of Korea to the United Nations is in charge of working with organizations and representatives from 193 countries. The main mission is located in New York and the other mission is located here, Geneva. In Geneva, it is possible to do things related to human rights, humanitarian aid, disarmaments, etc., mainly due to its neutral position. The mission is to focus on contributing to various issues in societies, to maintain global peace, and to support economical development of the world. And these are the organizations that the permanent mission is working with. And as you guys know, many of the presenters already know about these. UNHCR, IOM, ICRC, IFRC, and OCH.
The important topic of permanent mission of the Republic of Korea to the UN is the North Korea's disarmament. And that's why the Foreign Minister UN본부 urged the international community to resolve North Korea's weapons of mass destruction at the Geneva Disarmament Conference. And he stressed that North Korea is the first country which has conducted nuclear tests in this century. And it is the first country which was developed nuclear weapons programs within the NPT region and announced its withdrawal from both the IAEA and NPT. And North Korea is the first country which has officially declared itself as a nuclear-armed state in its constitution. So, he urged all of other countries to join the international community of effort to achieve CBID or nuclear weapons program and abandonment of our chemical and biological weapons in North Korea.
So, development and delivery support. So, actually, the examples that we are using here are mostly happened very recently, 2017 or 2016. And for this one, this is the second topic of the three. And it is mainly about supporting anyone who are in a vulnerable situation or need a helping hand. all know where this place is, right? So South Korea is one of the countries who are passionate and willing to provide help. On April 25th, 2017, this is 4 months ago, the government of South Korea announced a plan at a conference that was about a high-level pledging event for the humanitarian crisis in Yemen. So before the civil war, many Yemen citizens suffered traumas from endless bombings and all the poor education and all the serious injuries. And in order to help them, the South Korean government decided to contribute the money to Syrian refugees. Not Syrian, the Yemen. And they donated about $4 million in US dollars. And this shows that the permanent mission is important because the mission representatives were the ones who made the conference successful. And the announcement and a message of encouraging other countries to join and help the Yemen citizens were both clear. So we have to know that the role of permanent mission is very important. I actually didn't know what the permanent mission does, and I didn't even know what permanent mission was. But actually, after knowing what's happening and what is trying to happening, is told me how the importance of the mission and how they connect our country to the world.
About the activities of UN human rights organizations in Korea. Since joining the United Nations in 1991, the Republic of Korea has been actively involved in major UN human rights organizations. They actively participated in the Commission on Human Rights Activities and served as a member of the Human Rights Committee from 1993 to 2006. In 2006, the Human Rights Council was succeeded by the Human Rights Commission, which was newly established as an organization under the UN General Assembly. We have been a member of the Council of Human Rights since its inauguration as a member of the Council of Human Rights 4 times in total. In 2016, Choi Byung-lim served as chairman of the Human Rights Council, contributing 149 decisions. The Human Rights Council is discussing not only human rights issues such as gender equality, children and disabled people, but also human rights issues such as North Korea and Myanmar, and the Korean government is actively participating in related discussions.
So what now? What does the permanent mission does from now on? And what is the next mission now? And according to the speaker from day 3, you all remember the 2 speakers up there? And they told us that there are countless issues, all the issues, and these are only just part of it. There are tons of more than these. And there are countless issues, conflicts, and unspoken problems that we need to talk about, and we need to solve actually. And these problems are still in progress through conferences that might be happening right now, but might take years to start a debate. And actually, yesterday and 2 days ago, other conferences and meetings are actually happening in here. And it is important to maintain peace among countries and show enthusiastic participation at the same time. This is part of the challenge to pay attention to each issue equally and keep amicable relationships with other representatives. Also, in order to maintain this, this is not a good example, but the relationship with other representatives, the leaders have to sometimes hide their faces or hide their emotions and keep their poker face because they're representing the country. So this is just one of the poker face. But despite the challenges to face, the mission's goal will be the same, like
Thank you. So, before ending this presentation, thank you for your long attention for this long speech. But before ending, we would like to talk why the day 3 to see was so important to us. Is because before coming to this Geneva and learning about the ICRC and the permanent mission, we actually did not know anything about what ICRC does or what the role the permanent mission play. However, by talking with the staff and the people who actually work there, it gave us a real good opportunity to learn and what is actually happening in the international organizations. So I think that this experience was very valuable to us. Thank you.